Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Everyday English Learning, the podcast for peaceful language practice.
Hi there, I'm Jake.
And I'm Lily. Today, we are slowing everything down for a quiet listening session.
I really need this today. The world feels very loud lately, and learning English often feels like a stressful race.
Yes, the pressure to understand fast speech can be exhausting. I was sitting by an open window this morning. I had a warm cup of tea and I was just watching the street. It was completely still.
That sounds perfect. Usually, when people practice listening, their brains are tense. They try to translate every single noun and verb before the speaker moves to the next sentence.
Exactly. That is why today is about English stories for quiet learning. We are going to share some gentle, everyday scenes. This is how you build your listening skills without the heavy stress.
So, no one is taking a test today? I can just listen?
No tests at all. You do not need to catch every word. Just follow the main idea. We will naturally share useful words for describing your own quiet moments.
That is a massive relief. I think many people avoid audio practice because it feels like an intense mental workout.
It does not have to be. We will explore how quiet listening helps your brain absorb language naturally. And later, we will break down a few calming phrases in meaning moments.
I am ready for this. I have my coffee right here. So, how does slowing down actually make us better listeners?
You mentioned your coffee earlier. Is your mind actually quiet right now, or are you still thinking about your busy morning?
Honestly, my phone is face down on the table, but part of my brain is still writing an email.
That is exactly how most people approach English listening practice. They bring all their daily noise and tension into the activity.
Yes, they sit down, press play, and prepare for a difficult mental workout.
The common assumption is that listening requires intense, rigid focus. You believe you must catch every single word.
That makes sense because of traditional classrooms. If you miss one detail on the audio track, you fail the exam.
Right. But that pressure actually blocks your understanding. When your brain is tight, you miss the atmosphere completely.
I hear that. But if I do not actively translate the words, I worry the story will just disappear.
That is a very familiar fear. But think about standing in the rain or listening to the ocean.
You definitely do not analyze every single drop of water.
Exactly. You just let it wash over you.
Let it wash over you. That is a nice image. It means you just experience the feeling without trying to catch everything.
Yes. When you do this with a quiet English story, your ears open up naturally. You hear the rhythm.
So instead of hunting for vocabulary, I am just sitting in the language. It is like sitting by your open window.
Yesterday evening, I was walking through a quiet park. I walked past two people talking on a wooden bench.
Did you try to catch what they were saying?
No, I did not try to understand their whole conversation. I just tuned in for a moment.
You tuned in. That means you gently focused your attention on them, just to hear the sound.
Right. I tuned in to the soft tone of their voices, not their grammar. It felt completely peaceful.
That sounds lovely. But how do we actually do this in practice? What happens when my brain panics over a difficult word?
You just notice the panic, and you let the word float away.
That is much easier to say than to do. My brain instantly wants to grab it and solve it.
I understand that instinct. I was listening to an audio story in French last week. It was about a baker working early in the morning.
That sounds very peaceful.
It was. I understood the flour, the warm oven, and the quiet street. Then the baker used a specific verb for folding the dough. I did not know it.
Did you pause the audio to look it up?
No, I kept playing it. But my mind stopped listening to the story. I was suddenly staring at the wall, trying to guess the translation.
Because you got stuck on that one word.
Exactly. Because I got stuck, I missed the next 3 sentences. By the time I paid attention again, the baker was already opening the shop.
You dropped the whole atmosphere just to chase one missing piece of vocabulary.
Yes, that is a very common trap. When you practice, you might get stuck on a single word. It means you cannot move your attention past it.
I do this when I watch the news. A reporter uses a complicated political term, and my mind freezes up. I stop hearing the rest of the report.
Right. To freeze up means your brain temporarily stops working because of sudden stress. But in quiet listening, we practice a different reaction.
You just accept that you will not understand every single detail.
Yes, here is a useful sentence pattern. Instead of getting stuck on one unknown word, I try to enjoy the feeling of the story.
I like that structure. Instead of getting stuck on the exact translation, I try to follow the mood.
Exactly. A missed word is just a leaf floating past you on a river. You do not need to catch every leaf to enjoy the water.
That is a beautiful image. But what if the missing word is the main subject of the story?
That definitely changes the experience.
Right. If I am listening to a story about a dog, and I do not know the word for dog, the river becomes very confusing.
You are completely right. If you do not know the main subject, the story is no longer relaxing.
It just becomes confusing noise. You are trying to survive the water, not enjoy it.
That is a real limitation. There is a big difference between gentle attention and passive ignoring.
Passive ignoring means you let the English play, but your brain is completely checked out.
Right. Quiet listening is not about ignoring the language. It is about resting inside words you mostly already know.
So, you still need a foundation. If the story is about a baker, you must know the words for bread and morning.
Exactly. If you miss the specific verb for folding the dough, the story survives. You can still enjoy the scene.
But if you do not know what a baker is, you will lose the thread.
That is a great phrase. To lose the thread means you can no longer follow the connected meaning.
And once you lose the thread completely, the peaceful feeling disappears. You just feel frustrated.
Your brain realizes it is lost, and the tension returns. The material you choose matters.
I once tried to relax by listening to a heavy historical documentary. It was full of complex political terms.
That sounds like a terrible choice for quiet listening. Did it help you relax?
Not at all. I was lying in the dark, feeling stressed about a war from 300 years ago.
A gentle story should feel like sitting in a familiar room. You recognize the furniture, even if there is a new lamp in the corner.
You do not study the new lamp. You just notice it. But you still need to know you are in a living room.
Yes, that feeling of basic safety allows your ears to naturally hear the rhythm of the language.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do we actually build this habit? How do we listen without turning it into a test?
So, how do you actually build this habit? You can use a simple 3-step approach. Anchor, float, reconnect.
Anchor, float, reconnect. That sounds very aquatic.
It fits the river metaphor perfectly. First, you anchor. That means you start by identifying the main subject and the basic setting.
Like knowing the story is about a baker in the early morning.
Exactly. That is your anchor. You are safe in that room. The second step is float.
This is where you let the unknown words wash over you.
Right. If you hear a strange adjective describing the bread, you do not pause. You do not panic. You just let it float past.
I like the idea, but what if I miss 3 whole sentences and completely lose the thread?
Then you use the third step, reconnect. You gently wait for the next familiar word, and you pull your attention back.
I see. Instead of getting stuck on the gap, I just wait for the next solid bridge.
Yes, let us apply this. Imagine you are listening to a quiet story about a rainy evening. You clearly understand the rain and the dark sky.
I have my anchor.
Then the speaker uses an unfamiliar word for the sound of the wind against the glass.
I float. I do not stop the audio to translate it.
Perfect. Then the speaker says, I sat down and poured a hot cup of tea.
I reconnect to the tea. I am back in the story, and the peaceful feeling survives.
It takes practice, but it works. Now it is your turn to try this pattern.
Listen to this complete model. When I hear an unknown word, I let it float past.
Now, create a new sentence. Tell us what you do when you lose the thread.
Use your own words to answer. This approach changes how you receive English.
It changes it from a stressful exam into an actual experience.
I agree. I think we are ready to explore some of these phrases in meaning moments.
Let us slow down for today's meaning moments.
We used some very gentle phrases today.
Let us start with wash over you.
You used that earlier when comparing English listening to standing in the rain.
Exactly. To let something wash over you means you experience the feeling without trying to analyze it.
You do not fight it. You just let yourself feel it.
Right. Repeat. Wash over you.
Wash over you.
Next is the phrasal verb tune in.
You tuned in to the 2 people talking on the park bench.
Yes, it usually means finding a radio station. Here, it means gently focusing your attention on an atmosphere.
So you are not studying their grammar, you are just tuning in to the sound.
Exactly. Repeat. Tune in.
Tune in.
Our third phrase is lose the thread.
This happens when you miss too many words and the story becomes confusing noise.
Right. The thread is the connected meaning. If you lose it, you are completely lost.
That is when you need to wait for a familiar word so you can reconnect.
Perfect. Repeat. Lose the thread.
Lose the thread.
Now let us move to say it better. We will upgrade 2 basic sentences.
I am ready. What is the first basic sentence?
Basic sentence. I did not understand the middle of the story.
That is clear, but it does not explain how the confusion actually happened.
A more descriptive version is, I got stuck on a word and lost the thread.
That is much better. It describes the exact mental experience of getting lost.
Here is the second basic sentence. I am listening to the English.
That sounds a little mechanical, like you are taking a formal test.
A softer version is, I am just tuning in to the rhythm of the language.
That immediately changes the mood. It sounds completely peaceful and natural.
Now it is time for a little guided practice.
This is your chance to use one of these phrases yourself.
Here is a complete model sentence. When the news gets too loud, I tune in to quiet music instead.
Now, create a new complete sentence using tune in to.
Tell us what you tune into when you need to relax.
You can practice saying it out loud right now.
These phrases make it much easier to describe how we experience language.
I agree. I feel much more comfortable approaching my next quiet listening session now.
You can just let the story play and let it wash over you.
No tension, No tests. Just a quiet room and the sound of English.
We are almost at the end of our time today.
And my coffee is completely gone, but my brain actually feels rested instead of exhausted.
That is the real magic of changing how you practice. You stop fighting the language and just let it exist.
I agree. Earlier, I was treating English listening like a stressful test. Now it just feels like sitting by your open window.
It is amazing how much more you naturally hear when the tension finally leaves your shoulders.
We explored a very different approach today. You just need to anchor yourself in the main setting of the story.
Then you let the unknown vocabulary float past you like leaves on a river.
And if you completely lose the thread, you just wait for a familiar word so you can comfortably reconnect.
So, here is a small action for you to try this week. Find a gentle English story or a quiet podcast.
Press play and decide that you will not let your hand touch the pause button.
Exactly. Just sit in the atmosphere and let the rhythm of the language wash over you.
We would also love to hear from you. What is a quiet, everyday sound that always helps you relax?
Tell us in the comments. It could be falling rain, a ticking clock, or the wind outside your window.
If this calm approach helped you today, you might want to subscribe so we can share more peaceful moments together.
Thank you for sharing your time with us here at Everyday English Learning. I am Lily.
And I am Jake.
Take care and enjoy the quiet moments.
The meaning will find you when you finally stop chasing it.